Now we're going to look at an example where the a is greater than 1. So if we're factoring when a is greater than 1, there's a couple different methods to use. A lot of you guys use guess and check and then just factor, expand, and see that you get the original trinomial back, which is fine. There is a method to do this though. So I'm going to show the method. First, you take 2 and multiply it by negative 15. So 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. So now what we do is write out the factors of negative 30. So we could have 1 and 30, or 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. Now I'm going to be looking for the sum again, and I want the sum to be positive. So that means I'm going to put the positive number on the second factors because that's bigger, and I'm going to put the negative on the first factors. And then I'm going to add them. Negative 1 plus 30, that's negative 29. That's not going to work because we want it to be 7. 15 minus 2, 13. That's not going to work. If I do this backwards and go 10 minus 3, or negative 3 plus 10, that gives me, for the sum, 7. So this is a pair that I want. Now, what happens is we're going to break this into factoring by grouping. So we're going to take this negative 3 and make it negative 3x, and the 10 and make it 10x. And we're going to pair it in the middle. So as I look at this, I'm going to put the negative 3x with the 15, and the 10x first with the 2x squared. So we have 2x squared plus 10x, and then I'm going to put minus 3x, and then minus 15. And now what we're going to do is use factoring by grouping. So I have 2x squared plus 10x. I can factor 2 out of them, and the biggest variable I can factor out is x. So if I factor 2x out of 2x squared, x is left. And if I factor 2x out of 10x, I put plus 5. And then for the second part, negative 3x minus 15, I'm going to add, and then I'm actually going to factor out a negative. So I'm going to factor out negative 3, and then times, and it would be x plus 5. And then now what you see is in both of these terms, I have an x plus 5. So I'm going to pull that out to the front. So we have x plus 5, and then times, and I cross the x plus 5 out and then look at what's left. So we have 2x here, and then plus negative 3. Again, mathematicians are kind of lazy with signs. I don't want to write 2 signs. Instead of plus negative 3, I'm going to write minus 3. And then that completes that problem. That's a little bit more tricky. A lot of you guys found that a little complicated. So we're going to go over another example with that. So if we have 2x squared plus 3x and then minus 35. Again, the process, we multiply 2 times negative 35. So 2 times negative 35 is negative 70. So the step that I'm doing there is you multiply A times C. And then what I'm looking for when I write out my factors is a sum of 3. So it has to sum to B. So as I look at factors of negative 70, so I'm just going to put F of for factors of negative 70. And then I'm putting S of for my sum. I want it to be 3. And then you notice again, we have a positive number. So whenever I put my factors, I have like factors of 70 would be 1 and 70. The positive number is going to be bigger, so my negative would go here. So then here, 2 and 35. I know that that's not close to 3. So when I keep looking for factors of 70, I have here 7 and 10, and my negative would be bigger. Negative 7 plus 10 is 3, so that's the pair that I want. So again, that negative 7 ends up being negative 7x and 10x. So now I have to look at how I'm going to combine those. So here the 10x combines really well with 2x squared because I can pull the 2 and an x out. So I'm going to write 2x squared plus 10x. And then I'm going to put the negative 7x with the negative 35. So minus 7x and then minus 35. And then I'm going to factor by grouping. So I'm going to group these terms together and factor, and group those terms together and factor. So if I factor 2x squared and plus 10x, I can pull 2x out. So 2x times, and then this would be x plus 5. And then here, if I factor a negative 7 out, it would be negative 7 times, and then again, x, and then negative 7. If I take negative 35 and divide it by negative 7, we get positive 5. So then you notice here, I have x plus 5 in both, so we can factor that out. So in front, I'm going to put x plus 5. And then for me, this was confusing as a learner. So to help me learn what to take out, I cross off the x plus 5, and then I kind of underline what's left. So my second part would be 2x for the first term, and then minus 7.